polished
Yeah.
approaches, and it's
It was
good.
the way it was presented, I think, that was the issue for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done everything I wanted. But if you want the next stage and you think, hang on a minute, that's not what we
Yeah.
signed up for. So yeah, I lost a lot of respect for her over the way she handled that. She could have done it in a better way. She could have waited a couple more weeks and
Yeah.
said, for those of you who feel you want more, that I haven't given you enough, here's the next course. But anyway, she's lost out, because I won't. Every time I get an email from him, it just go delete, delete, delete. I don't want anything to do with him.
Me too. Me too. And I unsubscribed from. I did. I took it upon myself to unsubscribe from his emails, and one still snuck through.
Yeah. No, I still get them coming through. I will promote her, because I think what was in the course has huge value.
Yeah.
But everybody I tell about it, I say to them, don't do it unless you've got a customer list, because she doesn't help you get your customer list up and running. Your email list, that's the one thing that I've banged on about from day one that I wanted, and she's not helped at all. So
I think you're right. I think that someone should not start from scratch with her. I think that they should have sales already.
Yeah.
Some history, but you need a foot up in what to know about the rest of how the internet works, because I don't regret spending the money. And it's because I'm aware of a bunch of stuff I wasn't before. At least I have a clue now of what it would take to make it work online.
That's exactly the way I feel.
Yeah. I had all of that. I've got the sales, but I just didn't know about having the list and how to build that list.
Yeah.
So
I'm banging away at ads to try and get. No, it's not. Sorry, not my turn to talk.
Well, I think I get my new computer today. I think that call that came in was from them. So we'll see. I've got, I'm sure that's what it is. So I'll be happy about that. Once I get it, I can go on and continue work on my website, and that's what's next for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think for those of you, I think Beata was also in the affiliate.
Yes, she is, and she's doing well.
Yeah, I think for those of you in the affiliate, since you're going to be, I don't want to use the word marketing, but you're going to be promoting, you have to have that conversation.
Yeah,
I mean, for the rest of us, we're done. That's all right now. We're done.
Gonna stay together, right? We're gonna stay together.
Of course.
Oh yeah. Well, I would hope so, because this is one of the brightest things that's come out of that course for me.
Yeah, same here.
It's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, it's
a sisterhood.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Michelle, is there anything else you would like to?
I am just so excited. Oh, I did get the deposit check for the.
You did.
Saturday.
Yay.
Picking from Saturday. So
wonderful.
That's wonderful.
So that's it. That's it for me.
So have you started?
I don't understand.
Pardon me?
The deposit check from what?
From the commission. The commission, the hotel commission. Yeah. 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 Same Saturday.
Excellent.
It's in the mail, and you go, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It took an awful long time to get here from Kansas City, Missouri. That's all I can say.
Wow.
That's wonderful. So have you started or not yet?
No, because why? Why haven't I started? Because it was the weekend, and they had the street art fair that had been postponed from the prior weekend down King Street in Alexandria. So we had so many people in the building. There was no time to really. I didn't do work that I could really concentrate on. I did little picayune work and ruined a painting, but find a pain in the process because sometimes it's like, why are you doing that? And what, it's interesting experience to do most of your work in front of the public.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard sometimes.
Okay.
So I don't want to do commissions in front of the public.
No.
No.
No. Well, you have some.
Oh God, sorry.
Ooh, but I'm hoping to start today. So that's it for me.
I'm just
And how about you, Shirley? Looks like Allison is detained.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm
no.
I'm also, I have all these distractions too, and I'm feeling like I'm being pulled in
Oh.
all the directions except the one that I want to be pulled towards. There's something I do, and I want to talk about it because I keep on getting myself into trouble, and I don't want to do it anymore. So my dearest friend, my best friend, she wants some new clothes. And typically I would say, oh no, I'll help you shop, but I'm not making anything, you know. But I had a moment of weakness and she was able to crack, like she was able to slip right through my moment of weakness. And right now I don't know if you can see behind me, I have over like 50 fabrics that I'm going to cut. I can't sew, but I cut, I design, I drape and cut everything and I ship them and they have them made. And I don't want to do it anymore, especially when I ship them. I have to deal with the tailors and the seamstresses and they can't follow instructions. So anyway, I'm talking about it because anytime like I need some money of my own, I fall back on these other things, right? Which I don't want to do, So yes, I make some money, but it's like, no, I want to pay. I want to focus on my art. So it's just reaffirmed the fact that I really want to be an artist. I don't want to do all this other stuff. So coming back to that, in our accountability group, we're focusing on our website. We've been going around in circles. I mean, oh my God, all this stuff, everything. And we realized that the most concrete thing we can do right now to not just give us a sense of accomplishment, but to feel like we're moving forward especially with this course, and to be able to go out in the world and say, here's my business card, and say it with confidence. So my singular focus, apart from everything else that's going on in my world, is my website. So I want to share this latest about with you because I think that all three of us in our group are very melancholic. So I wrote this and they were like, oh, finally, there's something we can connect with. This feels, and I really appreciate that. But I also have a feeling it's going to the dark side and I'm not sure. So today I just want to read this to you and have you share your thoughts.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay. So my story. All that I am, all that I create, all that I do has been born out of sadness. A deep sadness, as I feel as a very feminine, sensitive, and romantic soul. But the sadness is not mine alone. It's a sadness that I see in the eyes of women, and sometimes men. A longing to be loved, cherished, adored. Dreams of love shattered. Disappointment, disillusionment, disenchantment. All of the beauty, frivolity, sometimes humor is a way of creating a balm to assuage the sadness I feel. The dreams of romance, adoration, the celebration of seduction, and the great seductresses, all a way of lighting a light, possibly a fire, in hearts that have grown weary. This is possibly the only place you're going to read about the sadness I feel, because the intention is not to dwell there. Rather, for all of my life's work, the beauty, the art, the opulence, the decadence, the celebration of love and romance, heralding the scandalous seductresses who found a way to combine feminine magnificence with personal achievement. All of it is my private, little but fierce war against the sadness, to turn all of our pain into the most beautiful love story that has ever been told.
Oh, lovely. That's universal.
It really is.
So you think
Had me in tears almost. It is very relatable.
Okay.
Very.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So for today, I have my about page done.
Yay.
So possibly next time when we meet, it's going to be another small thing. It's going to be done, and I'm going to focus on this until I get to a point where I feel like my website is a true representation of who I am, and I can talk about it with pride, share it, and finally begin this journey. You know?
Yes.
So that's my focus.
Yes.
And to stop getting distracted with the things that I don't want.
Yes, time to move forward.
Yes, I have to. It's I'm feeling this every time I have to deal with clothes or the possibility of what feels like a client and clothes. Oh my God, the anxiety, it's like my muscles can remember anxiety from the past, and I can't sleep and I'm stressed out. It's a mess. So anyway.
I have a suggestion for you.
Boy.
When did you do this cutting of the clothes?
I'm now going to start. I shopped on Saturday. I bought the fabrics on Saturday. I'm going to.
So this is a really good time to do this. You need to put a note out to all your friends on Facebook. So everybody that you know that says, had a fabulous time, helped my friend, cut all this fabric. Unfortunately, it really has damaged my hand so much that my doctor has said, I must never do this again.
I love that.
Guilt them.
Yeah. And then next time somebody says, oh, I would so love to help you, but I have damaged my hand so much last time. My doctor has said I can't use scissors. It's that action. I just can't do it anymore.
You have purple.
That's the best advice.
Oh dear. I should have been a writer, shouldn't I? Not a painter. I can pick up stories ever so quickly. But no, seriously, it will send them away because they will just think, oh, we can't do that to Shirley.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Guilt them, definitely.
Thank you.
I do have some fabric here you can cut if you like.
Oh, Lord.
But there was one thing I didn't share with you guys. It came up. It all has to do with this. The fact that I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm a really good designer. I am. I can make anything, you know. And sometimes I feel guilty because I'm sitting on all this talent, you know, but it's the last thing I want to do. And so again, in my accountability group, because Jennifer, her background is in costume design.
Oh.
And she also detests sewing. So, I was like, what's going on here? There are all these talented women. And so we came up with an idea, and I was really ready to run with it. And what happened? Something came along and just knocked it all out of me. But this idea of, how people have these robust online learning platforms, there's a photographer I follow. Her name is Sue Bryce. I've studied under her for a very long time. And she started about 5 years ago online after being a successful portrait for about 20 plus years. And I have to tell you, what she's done is incredible. In the past 5 years, it's as if she's revived the portrait photography industry. Because there was when digital photography came on board, prints weren't being as valued as they were. Everyone became a photographer. Everyone could get a camera. So she was able to infuse value back into the portrait photography industry. And she has this whole method where you give your clients a makeover, hair and makeup, and they get to experience something like a celebrity style, Vanity Fair style shoot. And not only has she infused this method of photography, but photographers are making money. Photographers who used to have to sell CDs and hard thumb drives for like $50, $100 per session are now making $2,000, $3,000 because they've infused value into the whole experience, And so I've been very inspired by what she's done. And if I, we're going back to the Red Godmother and the magic wand. If I could, I wish I could revive the dressmaking industry. And this goes back to before the First World War, where women didn't, before the industrial age, where women didn't buy clothes, where women went to dressmakers to have clothes made for them, right?
Yeah.
And I could imagine a world where there was a dressmaker within like every 10 miles of everyone, where and then you could have a relationship with your dressmaker. And, the fashion industry is the largest that it's ever been, but now more than ever, women are still complaining that they can't find clothes to fit them. So I wouldn't. It's a very overwhelming idea, but I wish I could, channel all of this talent, all of this experience, more experience than talent. Oh, it's both. I could channel all of this experience towards supporting women and men who loved making clothes, dressmaking, who loved, and boost the industry to a point where every woman in the world could have something made just for her. So that's a faraway idea. It's up in the air. So
could you not sort of align yourself with a dressmaker, a makeup artist, a photographer, and then the art that you want to do, and sell it as a package between you yourself and 2 or 3 other people?
I've thought about it. I've looked, I'll just say it. It's where I live. I feel like I'm cursed. It's where I live. I've reached out to so many people, makeup artists, and I invite them to my home and I show them what is possible, but it just hasn't worked.
Okay.
Not to negate that, but my ultimate goal, my dream, is to have these retreats, right? Where I'm just the hostess. I don't want to do anything. I'll tell you the truth. I want to lift a finger, but I'm the one. I'm like the director of an orchestra, So I'm directing the photographer and the makeup and the designer, and I'm just holding the space for this experience to come forth. And then maybe at the end of the day, I'll paint it. That's the truth.
I had a long chat with a guy, you know, the guy that I talked about on the call on Friday called Johnny Hates Marketing.
Yes. How did it go?
It was really fascinating. And one of the things that he said, which is really pertinent to you, Shirley Ann, is that he said there's no good coming up with an idea and asking people if they wanted to take part.
Okay.
What you need to do is to come up with the idea, set everything up and say, would you like to be included? Because the idea that you say something, do you want to take part in this? It's like, yeah, well, maybe, not really sure. Whereas if you say, no, this is the venue, it's booked, this is how much it's going to cost you. This is, I've got these clients. He said, if you set the whole thing up and you manage it all, then you're inviting them to be included of something that's already there, something that's tangible. But if you, it's too woolly. It's still in the thought process stage. Because what he was trying to tell me to do was to go and actually open up a gallery. Just start it up and then tell people they have to pay X amount a month in order to cover the rent if they want their work on the walls. So don't ask them, just do it. And then that whole thing, the people will come.
That makes sense, because I think I've been going with the attitude of I want collaborations. You know, I want to build relationships, but it obviously...
Take charge, and then you pay their fees and you keep what's left.
Did you all did you record Fridays?
Yes, I've been busy. I'll post it as soon as.
Okay. I just wondered, because I'll listen to it if you put it out there.
I will. So yes, but thank you.
Cool.
Okay, it's your turn.
It's my turn. What can I tell you? Johnny hates marketing. And Johnny was very, very helpful. And I'm going to share with you what Johnny told me I should do. He's told me to join all the groups, all the pertinent groups. See if I can find what he actually said to me. I'm not going to be able to find it. Join the groups and then post my artwork in the group. How can't I find it? Post my artwork in the group and then ask people to comment on it. Ask for feedback from people. And he said, those people, he said, yeah, you'll get lots of people who like. That's nice. Don't take any notice of that. The people that put a heart on it, of somebody that have actually expressed something more than just a like, he said, direct message them and say, I noticed you you loved my work. Would you like to get on a call with me and talk a bit more about what I do, and let me show you some art that's not made my Facebook, Instagram or website? And then once on the call, I mean, the only people that are going to come on the call are the people that are interested in the work in the first place anyway. And he said, and I said, well, then how do you get those people to buy? And he said, well, what you do is you say, well, this piece of artwork normally goes for £195 or $195. But I will ship it out to you today if you want it for 100, postage including.
Oh.
And he said, and then you sit on the call with them while they pay PayPal. Don't let them leave. You say, I'll sit on it. I've been having problems with my PayPal. Let me sit on the call with you while you put the payment through. And he said, there you are. You've done it. You've sold 100, something for 100 that you wouldn't have sold at all. But by taking that first initial step of asking people to comment on your art within whatever group it is that you're in.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
So that is my task for this week when I've got all the other things out of the way. To see if I can do it. To see if, because he said, how comfortable do you feel?
I'd be curious to hear how it goes.
That's
a bold move.
Yeah, that's aggressive, but it sounds interesting.
Well, I did think initially it was aggressive, and then I thought about it a bit more. I thought, well, if somebody's gone so far as to put a heart on it, and I've direct messaged them and they've decided to interact with me, they obviously feel something.
Mhm.
They wouldn't get on a call if they didn't know somewhere deep inside that it was about sales.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you just don't, wouldn't you? Because I mean, somebody would. I mean, I get things like that, all sorts of things, all the time, being asked to join this group and the next group, and I just think, I look at it and think, no, I'm not interested. Delete, delete, delete. But if something interested me and I was to engage in a conversation, I know that if I was to get on a call, that's what it would. They would want something from me. So you would only go that far.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I think we all have to get to a point where we realize that internet marketing is aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's what you're describing, Allison, or what we've experienced with Ryan Levesque, right? I mean,
Right.
cuts across the spectrum. But I think if we could just accept that it's what it is and say, okay, I'm part of this or not, it's a big, you know.
Yeah. The people that I see here, I mean, the reason I joined the Nexus group was because I was following Nicholas Walton. And because of my degree, I just could not do his class at the time. The reason I wanted to do his class was because I know 3 people in this country who've taken the class that have gone from 0 to, they literally have gone off the scale.
Nicholas's class?
Nicholas Wilton,
yeah.
the artist.
Oh, I found out about Alexis initially. Nicholas's class.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he?
Right.
There must be something in what he teaches, though, that is in a line very much with what Alexis does, because these women were quite meek and mild before they did the Nicholas course, and now they are, you know, they're out there, they're doing the courses, they're running the shows. I mean, every time I switch on my computer, I've seen one of the 3 of them. They're just amazing.
Do you know which course they took of his?
They do. He does one every year, doesn't he? He only does one every year online.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's about March time.
Okay.
It must be around that time, because I had a deadline in April, I think it was, that I had to, if I hadn't submitted by a date end of May, March, beginning of April, I would have had to stop my degree course, so I could not take it on. So I think his course starts around that sort of time, in the springtime.
Is it the same kind of price tag as Allison's?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, his free training is really fascinating, well worth looking at from a composition, tone, that kind of point of view. Just don't necessarily want to do it the way he does it, but it gives you another angle on how to approach a canvas.
Okay.
So it wasn't. If I make enough money in the next few months, I will take the course, because I can see what it's done for these people that I know.
So he teaches art and business? What's I don't know who he is. What's he about?
Well, he's an artist.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
But
painting.
there must.
He does art to life. It's to the numeral 2. Art to life. If you, in fact, I just sent a friend. I forwarded the email. He always sends emails out linked to video on Sundays, and then he started this practice of Friday having a live demo talk on Friday afternoons, which I think he does at 12 o'clock Pacific time, which is 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I don't know, what is it, 9 p.m. for you, or 8 p.m. for
8,
you?
yeah, 8, yeah.
So it's worth getting on his list and doing it, because even though a lot of the things that he does are, I taught composition once upon a time, and I had done a lot of the things that he does are reintroducing people to the elements, but in a more sophisticated and deliberate way. Yeah. But he makes the point quite succinctly, and some of them have more value than others, like anybody. But he's given away so many free nuggets that I wonder what he saves for the course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he have anything
Well,
Wanted to
Yeah,
go out. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I also signed up for his Facebook group. I caught one of his videos and thought, oh, he's good. He's got the, like you were saying, the elements, and he really puts it across well. So I signed up to see his videos. I've not seen all of them, but he's valuable for anybody that's just starting out and needing to understand some of the nuts and bolts about putting together a good abstract painting. I mean, I thought he was valuable for that alone.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he taught a course. I know he takes a group of people down to Mexico. I saw that, like 2 different groups in like November or December of this year. So you could go have an experience, but that's also kind of an expensive ticket. And I guess it sells out pretty quickly.
And he does one in Morocco.
Oh, wow.
I know. But there was always somebody because they only have. I noticed one time when I was looking at the workshops and said, "Oh, maybe this might be nice." And I know that they only have one single supplement offer, and it's usually way overpriced, and it's always taken. You know, like always taken. I swear to God, it must be the same person that follows him everywhere.
Well, Alison, I'm curious. You talked about your new mentor talking about a gallery, opening a gallery. Did he?
Oh, yes, it was one of the ideas that you get on these sort of 30-minute calls with these people and they kind of try and impress you, aren't they? And one of his ideas was, what would I think about opening a gallery? It's one of those things that I would ultimately like to do, have a gallery with my workspace at the back, so I could be working and studying other people's work. It's a fantastic idea. I'm glad he jumped on that, but I'm not anywhere near ready to be doing that yet. That's 5 years down the line.
The reason I was intrigued because I shared an artist in the group. Her name is Jacqueline Coates.
Mm-hmm.
Her business, Jacqueline Coates.
Jacqueline.
Yes, her. I shared a bunch of links, all in one post in the group. For anyone who wants to teach workshops and teach online courses, then I think her business model is incredible. And I will take the time to share it with you because I think what she's done is incredible. So with her story began as becoming a single mom, second baby on the way, and she had to make something happen. So she created a collection of, she paints giants, like huge flowers, And I'll be honest with you, they're not the best flowers I've seen. Just want to say that. However, that's besides the point, So she talked about how she didn't even have a gallery that she was connected with, nothing. And all she did was she talked to, I think she had a background in advertising and publicity.
Right.
So she got the magazines and the newspapers and everyone in her little town to talk about the show. And the show was in her house.
Okay.
It wasn't even in an official gallery. So she had the show one evening with cocktails, cheese, the works. And I think she said she sold everything,
Wow.
Yes. Now, this was at the very beginning of her career. So this show gave her a lot of buzz. This was like her make or break thing. And obviously it happened. And then she talked about how the next thing was that I think a florist invited her to teach a group of ladies her painting method, like how to paint these flowers, So it didn't start out by wanting to teach, she was just an artist wanting to make some money. But she taught this course and she taught a class in a flower shop or something. And next thing she's now become a teacher. The reason why I really love her business model is she had a gallery. She started with a gallery. So not only did she show her work, she showed off the work of local artists, and she also showed her students' work.
Nice.
So it became a win-win-win-win-win throughout. Yeah. And then next thing she's doing, she's teaching classes all over. She lives in Australia. She's teaching classes all over Australia. And then the next thing, she has an online course, which costs what, $12,000?
Wow.
Yes, always sold out. Where she takes you the whole year's course, right? And she basically holds your hand. She teaches you, she tells you that she'll teach you how to paint, and she'll teach you how to market. You know, she'll teach you how to make the videos, everything. I've been like Sherlock Holmes with her. Like I've followed her all over the place. So, but what I've realized is her students have replicated her business model. I posted about 3 links in the post in our group where they have all open galleries in their homes, you know, and they're all having these events, and they're also supporting other artists in their local area, because what I think that does is it just brings in more people.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the last thing she's done, which has just blown my mind, and she talks about it. She talks about how her art has enabled her to buy property. And the latest property she acquired is in the south of France. And she talks about how it's the retreats that she hosts in this property that pay for the property. And that has just, I'm crazy about her business model.
That's my dream.
So
what is her name again? I'm sorry.
Jacqueline Coates. Jacqueline Coates, Coates.
I didn't get that, Shirley.
I'll tag you in the.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I'll tag you, because, like I said, I posted a bunch of links. You know, so if wishes were horses, I wish I could open a gallery, because that's something that I can see myself doing. Alison, just as you described, have my little studio at the back of the gallery, support local artists, teach classes, and then of course travel the world. You know, but I just think her business model is incredible. It's not this, it's between, you know, with Alexis it's more all online, but this is between online and the real world.
Yeah.
Combining the two. So this is why I was curious about the suggestion to open the gallery, Alison. I wanted to know what he had to say.
It's part of the plan. The kind of the way we see our lives panning out now over the next few years is that next year we will sell our house and we will move further. We live inside the M25, which is the motorway that circles around Greater London. We want to move outside of that. And we want to buy a place that has outbuildings, stable blocks, something like that, barn. And that will be turned initially into my gallery, whilst my studio, while I'm finished my degree. And then I will turn that into a gallery where I will have other people's work there and people can all come. That's the plan. So it is a 5-year plan. So it's sort of sat at the back there. I've just had an email from Camilla to say she's feeling super frustrated because she really wanted to be part of the call today. She was planning to join, but her husband came home late, so she couldn't make it. She's working on Friday night, but next week we'll try to plan better, so can be free to join for at least one of the calls. Okay. Hope you all there are well and really appreciate this group. Okay. Yes. Life just gets in the way. We have been again taken weeks to get together to talk, just the 3 of us. So, so the 5-year plan is the gallery. The 1-year plan is, and that's I've started to do, is I've been signing up to do the big art shows, and we have a number of big art shows. They cost a lot of money. It's a big investment, but whatever. We have to invest if we want to get anywhere in this business. I believe it's just not going to work otherwise. And then my short-term plan. So within the next 12 months, build my email list. And I'm just like today, I've put up a thing on Facebook to say, I'm thinking about my Christmas card. Would you please choose a subject, A to F? And in there is a little note that says, if you want to see more of my work, this is my website, sign up for my free. I mean, I really don't know what else I can do. I'm putting it out there every day. I've got 2 ad campaigns running at the moment. One is promoting my website, and the other one is promoting my work. I haven't had any bites.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it's frustrating.
You just keep plugging away. The only things I say to my father, who used to be an art teacher, Dad, what the hell am I doing wrong? And he said, you're not doing anything wrong. Just keep plugging away and you'll get there in the end. Thanks.
Yeah. All that energy, supposedly all that energy will come back at some point from somewhere. That we just have to keep putting it. We have to keep the intention going forward. My understanding is, I have had a few people I've known that have put work, and this is a little to the side, put work on Etsy, and have had a lot of success being found there. And you hear about people getting their work on TV and in movies and all because somebody found them on Etsy. Really? And I always thought Etsy was kind of a low. Kind of a low direction in which to pursue. It didn't seem to me like you'd want, if you were serious, that you'd really want to put your artwork on Etsy. But yet I get surprised by the number of folks that say, well, I've had success. I was discovered. I had somebody say that they had been approached by licensing companies because they were found on Etsy. And I'm like, well, maybe that's a low hanging fruit that, might even need to be considered.
Well, but you took the course with Amira, right?
Yes.
She said the same thing about Instagram. People say they were found on Instagram, and
yeah.
What are we doing wrong?
I think the people on Instagram must really just work that baby hard, because I'm impressed by some of what I've seen happen there, and yet I'm not. I have had some interesting success with gaining followers when I've put up pictures that were unrelated to art. A lot of interesting connection from positive affirmations that I've put up. I've had my followers jump dramatically. When it wasn't my artwork, it was positive affirmations or interesting photos that I put up. I'm still sort of amazed. I don't know what would happen if I started putting my paintings back up there, but I will at some point. And I think we will see, are they interested at all in that, or are they just like the way I'm curating my photos?
Maybe it's the mix. It's what they want to see, a mixture of all the things you do.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Could be.
Yeah.
I haven't even offered them really a way to buy my work there. Again, I've dragged my feet because I knew that my gallery was not going to be happy if I was trying to sell elsewhere. They don't want their public distracted into coming to me directly.
Okay.
So we'll have a little discussion here shortly, but because I'm going to give them something no one else has. And then I'm looking at my new work, possibly showing it myself elsewhere. And just giving them my non-representational abstract paintings, and then doing my slightly more abstract landscape things, doing those myself, selling them myself.
Does your gallery do well for you? Do they sell a lot for you?
Well, I haven't worked them much this year. They have brought me $5,000 to $6,000 a year in the past. This year they've sold one painting, and that's partly my fault for not, staying on their heels about it. But I kind of have taken a mental hiatus the last 4 months, and have to come back with being determined about what I want to do. I've been too wishy-washy about what I wanted to do, and that's not going to do well in any area. People don't feel a sense of commitment from you. Yeah. So I have to, as we're all doing, get my front organized and tell them what I want. This is what I'm going to offer you. This is what I'd like to see from you. Are you interested or not? Instead of waiting for them to tell me, I have to have a plan. So there's why things have been slow motion.
I think that seems to be the general thing. We have to tell people what we want.
Yeah.
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 Michelle, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
With your studio, you know, where do they have like affiliates all over the country? Like, do you have like sister branches? Or
No,
is it like
no.
one of a kind, you know?
We are one of a kind, but there are other art centers, one in Raleigh, North Carolina, some all over the country, one in Goggle Works in Pennsylvania.
How
It's
about
funny because some people have. We once had a traveling show where we went to all these various centers all across the country, but this was independent. It was started by um, the founding member still here. She heard about this building that the city of Alexandria didn't know what to do with, and so she got artists to collect rental checks, and she went to the mayor and said, "This, I've got this commitment," and so they did. That was 44 years ago.
Oh, that's fascinating. So is the building full? Like, do artists come and go, or like because
They do come and go, and we do have a visiting artist program. I had a woman in my studio in August, so if anybody wants to try it out, it's not like a full residency because you aren't, you still do have to cover your expenses. So unfortunately, that's unfortunate. But you get to run that studio as yours for a month, 1 to 4 months. It's a very valuable program, but we don't know what's going to happen. I think some will be revealed on Thursday because they're having the city commissioned a report to be done where they went to the citizens of Alexandria. What do you think should happen to the factory? And apparently we're going to be given the first peek at what their consultants advise.
Uh-oh.
aren't
Yeah.
aren't a beloved organization? Like, would they want to do otherwise than other than what exists?
Well, I think initially they were just looking at it because they have some serious economic issues. There's a sewer system that needs replacement, and it was one place that they said, hey, this is very valuable real estate. We're right next to the river. That maybe it could be used to a greater revenue generating capability. And then they heard the outcry of people really wanting it to remain an art center because first of all, we found out that we commissioned a report, an economic impact study that said that we contribute $35 million of outside revenue to the city of Alexandria a year because we have 500,000 visitors a year.
Wow.
And so then they started saying, okay, but why don't we run it? Why don't we take over the running of it? Because these artists, they're a fly-by-night group. They don't, they get emotional. They don't, they have temper tantrums. And unfortunately, artists, it's like herding cats. And some do all the complainers go to see somebody make a complaint but for the most part, we've had a very stable association organization. Right now we have a president who shoots from the hip, and that's not been good. But he's a nice guy, but he just has a very, he basically told them to F off, and that's not what you do.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
And be cooperative and get along, but they've tried to commandeer more and more of what had been our programs. Like we had made money we had kept our rents low because we had the income of renting the facility for weddings and for private parties. We had made money because we got the commission on we have a gallery here that's a national gallery. Or even international galleries. We had one woman from Korea and one from Brazil do solo shows here, but anyway, we had a store that we had the revenue, but now that's all the city's profit. And now more and more they're trying to interject into the way we operate our individual businesses. They gave the president a citation because he wasn't keeping his hours. and they want to put a jury on top of the jury that we have to see how pleasant people are, how accommodating, how
Oh,
Patronising.
like,
oh,
and we've queried our members, and the most important quality to us is artistic quality. Like, we want it to be a quality organization, but over the years, it seems as though they're more interested in how many people cross our threshold than how the artists are actually doing. Because the rent is now 21% higher than it was 6 years ago, or not even 6 years ago, 3 years ago. And 21%, we went up 15% the first year, then 3%, then 3%, 21%. And we haven't had an increase in volume of sales. In fact, if you talk to most everybody's losing money. I mean, they end up paying more in rent than they are selling work, which is why I decided to take this course. You know, I really realized the onus is going to be upon me. I can't depend on this location. But I've got great space. I love it. I love being in this community of artists. It's great. And for the most part, I think the people that we have on staff are really very supportive. It's more the bean counters and the council members and all those other people that we have to contend with that, so I don't know. My tenure here might be tenuous. My tenure here might be tenuous. Yes, I might be booted out in a year. I don't know. You know, we'll see.
don't they call it gentrification?
You could say that, but this was the federal government sold it to the city. It's never been a property that has for commercial development. You know, it wasn't regarded. And there's so many code violations in this building that if they really want to say, hey, we're underpaying, I mean, I could cite chapter and verse all of the problems with the space, and including, you know, the fact that, here, I'll show you, that it's open air plenum. That's the fire code, you know, all separate tenants need to be demised. You know, they store things in the fire stair, and this is a building that's supposed to be it's open to the public. And they store things. They store cleaning equipment, explosive equipment.
Oh my gosh! Does the fire marshal never visit this place?
Yeah, they you know, it's interesting. I've learned this about code enforcement. And I was always so shocked at it, that they can just turn a blind eye. If it's a government building, they can just turn a blind eye. And I don't get it. I just really don't understand, especially a building that's essentially public, you know, but
wow,
it is what it is, you know. And it used to say, okay, we can put up with this, it's cheap space. Now we can say, well, it's not so cheap anymore. Anyway.
But if you make a fuss, they might take it off you anyway, so you have to be quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
So they've got you.
Between a rock and a hard place, so to speak.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Or as we say, got you by the short and curlies.
Yes, we say that too, actually, but I was trying to be...
Trying to be more sophisticated than me, I know.
I'm in a public space, dear. I'm in a public space. People can actually hear
She's being heard.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Me say, rethink what I say. No, my neighbor's gone. These two neighbors are out. He doesn't come in until, well, it is noon now, isn't it? Yeah, it's past noon. He's probably here, but he doesn't care. Anyway.
Wow.
Can I change the subject completely?
Sure.
And go back to, you were talking, Shirley, about a photographer called Sue. Was it Price or Bryce?
Bryce with a B. Bryce.
B. B-R-I-C-E or B-R-E-A-C-E?
B-R-Y-C-E.
B-R-Y-C-E. Okay, I'm going to look her up. And I'm going to look up Jacqueline Coates.
Yeah, I'll tag all of you in the post. Let me do that.
Thank you.
Are you any of you friends with me on Facebook? Personal friends with me on Facebook?
Yes.
I think so.
Well, maybe not. I better do.
I need you to come in, and I need you. I'm actually. This is working. Blimey neck. I've not long posted this, and I've had to reach 28 people, 9 engagements, 8 clicks, and I've got 3 votes. I need you to come on and vote for the Christmas card time.
Okay, what's winning?
Sorry?
What's winning? What do they want?
What's winning at the moment? Geese.
Okay.
Comical geese. Oh, it's me trying to do a serious piece of artwork, and they want comical geese. Thanks, girls.
That's funny.
The first person that's there is a lady called Gail Chick, I've known her since I was 11, and she said make them comical like the chickens. Well, because her name is Chick, I've over the years done lots of funny little drawings, and I recently sent her these kind of comical chickens, and that's what she's referring to. It's hardly high art, Gail. Thanks for that, darling. You really caused me.
So that we vote on that for you.
Yeah, sorry?
What would your ideal? What would you prefer to win? So that we vote.
I don't mind. I just don't know what to do. I do this every year. I never know what to do.
Okay. All right. So, looking for that right now.
I am going to friend you on Facebook if I haven't already.
I just tagged all of you in Jacqueline's in the post. Like I said, I all the comments are different. So I've posted her website, her offers, and I've posted 3 of her students, or 4. So they're all in one.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
That's brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah.
Cool. Can I talk about something nothing to do? This is being recorded, isn't it? Who's going to see it other than us?
No. Do you want me to stop the recording? I can.
It's not that. I just want to show off for a minute.
Okay. Yeah. Let it be on record.
I'll have to give you a little bit of background first. My younger son, Edward, who you've seen.
Yes. Just the same from time to time.
Yeah. He's been absolutely brilliant with me, helping me sort things out. Anyway, he was, I can say all of this now because he's not here and he can't hear. He was very badly bullied at school, very badly bullied, and was suicidal as a result. Thankfully, didn't do anything, but had actually said goodbye to his friends in a group chat, and when somebody alerted me. So went through a horrible time, meant that the first set of exams they take when they're 16, he didn't get the results that he wanted. We moved him to a different school to do his second 2-year, the A-levels that we were talking about the other day. He did reasonably well, got into a good university, not a top university, but a good university with fantastic facilities. Actually has some facilities that are better than any other, some facilities that don't even exist in other universities in the country. So, and it also holds the government top secret data, and it's hidden in the hills in the back of his university. So they get funding for all sorts of things. Anyway, so he arrives there. You know, he's not produced his best results over the last 2 sets of exams. And he was telling us he was getting good results. It was good, you know, it all sounded wonderful. And you think, oh, that's great, darling. That's really wonderful. In about May of this year, he told us that he had got over 90% in every single subject. And in this country, if you do that, you get a first with honours. So at the end of his first year, he knew he got a first with honours. He arrived today for his first set of lectures. So he's sitting in the lecture theatre with all the other students, and he gets called down to the front and is presented with a certificate as the top student for last year. He got the highest marks.
Oh my gosh.
And
Congratulations.
And he got a £10 Amazon voucher. I think he was more interested in the £10 Amazon voucher because that buys beer.
Oh.
I can't believe it. In the last 5 years, this child has gone from being almost incapable of speaking and talking and walking and all that to being top of the class.
Super. So happy.
So sorry, I'm just so I've got to tell somebody.
Oh, so happy you shared this with us. This is
He won't let me put it on Facebook. He said, "Mum, no, please don't put it on Facebook."
That's wonderful.
Credit this to the change of environment. What changed things?
For us as parents, we did not let him out of nobody let him out of their sight for 6 months. And I've always told my children that I love them, but I just did it more. I just kept telling him, I told him he was my little Peter Pan and that Peter Pan could fly. And so therefore, come on, Edward, we know that you can fly, spread those wings and fly. And it worked. Because somehow you just made him, I know I'm your mum and I'm expected to be the person that tells you you're brilliant even when you're not. But I'm not, you know me, I'm not flowers and feathers and flats. I'm not that kind of person. I'm going to tell you how it is. And if I think you're bad at something, I'm going to, you're going to get that. I wouldn't tell you were capable if I didn't honestly believe that you were. And I think eventually he realised that he was, that he got his confidence back. And he has worked so hard. So hard. I can't believe it. So all in the summer when he was popping in and out of here, he'd actually been in his room doing his prep for this year. He spent the whole summer taking it so seriously. So yeah, I'm very, 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 very proud.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a happy story.
It is. It is. And I'm glad you shared it with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. So, anything else to say?
So, how are you celebrating with him?
Yeah.
He's with his mates. He's not interested in me. We took him back last Monday. We said, well, we'll take you out for dinner once we've taken you shopping. Yeah. So we go and we spend vast sums of money on, I don't know what, help get it back to his flat. And he says, oh, I'll unpack it. Don't worry about it. Well, aren't we going to take you out for dinner? Oh, no, don't worry. I'm going to. And he was just champing at the bit to get back to be with all of his friends. And Mark and I were like, oh, right, okay, we'll go then. And we just felt lost.
Yeah.
Hey, he's happy. I can't ask for anything more than that. I have got another nice thing to say. I don't know if you know that I decorated a 4-foot hare.
A 4-foot what?
Hare?
Hare?
H-A-R-E.
Not one of these. That's right. And I did it in it was in a tartan for a Scottish rugby player who has motor neurone disease. So it was all about raising money for charity. We've got the first auction on Wednesday evening, and I'm going along to the auction. My one won't be auctioned off because we're trying to use it to raise more awareness for motor neurone disease and therefore get more money. But I'm being invited to the dinner. So
wonderful.
This is wonderful.
May it raise a lot of money.
Yes.
Oh, I hope so.
And so much.
Yeah, a lot of work went into it. I'll
show us a picture when you're ready.
Yeah.
I'll share a picture. I've had somebody I don't know. Ooh, contact me on my Facebook group. Sorry. There is a thing that goes around on Instagram every so often. Something like every time you buy a piece of art from an artist, they do a private little dance in their head. That's me.
Of course.
Well, ladies, my iPad is running out of juice, and I've been trying to find some way to hook it up, and I can't. So I am going to bid you adieu. And
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I've gone on for a bit, haven't I?
no,
That's okay.
No. These are things we want to. It's not just about the business here.
But I need to go.
Okay,
So I'm
I think
sorry.
we're done. I think we're done. So,
Well,
Bye,
best
ladies.
wishes.
yeah.
Friday 7. Friday 1 hour early.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I've been called again, so I will set everything up. Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Great.
you.
Nice to see you all.
Yes, good to see you all too.
Wonderful week.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.